Good afternoon and welcome to Biztech's Asian Midday Market Watch. Our guest today is Kian Soon, CEO of Austral Asset Management out of Singapore. Kian Soon, great to have you on the show again.
It's good to be back, Brian.
Now, before we get your insights, we will first take a look at crypto markets and then we'll take a look at how regional stock markets are performing. Today, we're going to take a very special look together with Kian Soon on climate change and how financial sustainability is impacted by that. Now we start with cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin is at 62,855. It's up 2.33%. Ethereum is at 4,551. It is up 4.32%. Now, if we look at across regional markets, we see the Nikkei at 29,520.9. It's down 0.43%. The Shanghai Composite is at 3,492.46. It's down 0.38%. The Hang Seng is at 28,857. It's down 0.97%. Bucking the trend is the ASX 200, which is at 7,382.80. It's up 0.8%. The Kospi is down 1.29%. At 2,974. Now, closer to home, we've got the SGX, which is down 0.4% at 3,219.33. And rounding up the numbers, we've got Bursa Malaysia, which is at 1,532.96. It's down 0.3%. Now, Kian Soon, what's your view on how markets have performed today? It seems more of a sea of red.
Yes, I think the market has been anticipating what the Fed will announce in the coming weeks on the Fed tapering in the United States. So there's a bit of concern, and generally the challenges of inflation is still in everybody's mind. Is it going to be transitory? Is it going to be long term? And it hasn't been helpful that the global supply chain problems is still ongoing.
And also one of the things with the inflation debate that's not helping at all is the impact of energy prices across the world, whether it's oil, whether it's natural gas, and so forth, and coal. What's your view on this?
I think oil prices have shot through the roof for the last couple of weeks, and President Biden actually requested OPEC to consider increasing their supply in the coming meeting. But OPEC, I think so far has been reluctant simply because many market reports have shown that the demand for oil is going to go into a decline in the year 2022. So OPEC is reluctant to take any steps to increase the pump and still sticking to 400,000 barrels a day. So in terms of supply, we're not going to get any new supply. So in terms of demand, it has been so far so good. It has been strong, and that's why the oil prices are sticking to its all-time high.
Now, Kian Soon, I want to talk a little bit today and get your insights on financial sustainability. Now, right now, we have the 26th UN Climate Change Conference happening in the UK right now in Glasgow between the 31st of October and the 12th of November. Now, the whole idea of the summit was to get people together towards action towards the Paris Agreement and the UN framework for the Convention on Climate Change. Sustainable finance is actually getting much more prominent. Could you kind of break it down to us and what this is all about?
Sure. I think the meeting is a symbolic one because last year, due to COVID-19, the world leaders couldn't gather. This year, more than 100 global leaders actually gathered in Glasgow for this meeting. And in a way, it's time to submit your homework and a report card check because all the commitments that were made in 2015 in the Paris meeting is now subject for review. And all the students are there to submit their results, show how much improvement they are made, as well as make new commitments because the temperature rising issues is getting very challenging. And at this current pace, I think scientists have shown that we're not going to be able to keep the temperature from rising below 1.5 degrees Celsius. And it's a serious matter. In terms of sustainability finance, I think this term came out because of all the initiatives. I think the first one that is apparent is the $100 billion that is committed by the developed nations to assist developing countries to help them to fight the climate change. And the bad news is, so far, I don't think this target has been achieved as developed nations struggle to raise the 100 billion. And people are passing the hat around in this summit to try to achieve that target, because the developing countries really need a big help in order to come up with initiatives and to achieve net zero emissions. In sustainability finance, you also see that there are new developments, especially in Europe, when it comes to carbon allowances. And in other parts of the world, I think the voluntary carbon credits or carbon offsets are taking off, so that you could actually buy these financial products in order to create offsets for your carbon emissions. I think it's exciting time for this era, as the various sustainability finance products are being structured to help to play a key role in our planet's challenge for global warming.
So one of the key things with sustainability finance is actually this whole movement away from financing dirty industry. So you see a very key trend, for example, and let's talk about the energy market. One of the challenges that is underlying the production issues is the fact that financial institutions are not financing things like fracking in the same manner that and coal or dirty energy in the same manner that they were just doing 5 years ago. Could you shed some light on that, and maybe if you have some numbers?
Okay, it's interesting because it's going to affect a lot of key industries. Like what you mentioned, the energy producers is one big group, and even the key industrials like cement makers, industrial players, even the airlines, the shipping lines will all be affected, because they all have to make a certain commitment to achieve net zero. And even for consumers, companies like Apple, producing consumer products, it's actually a huge challenge, because these guys bought raw materials from literally many different suppliers in order to assemble an iPhone. And in order to make sure that the overall product is net zero, you can assume that the amount of challenges that all these industries have to go in order to make sure to basically achieve their targets and commitments. And one of the ways that if you see the sustainability finance has been facilitating is to make sure that carbon allowances, carbon credits are on sale, so that even if your product is not net zero, you could actually offset them in other ways. For the energy producers, their biggest challenge is their own operations is not helping. So as a result, you will see a lot of energy producers investing in green projects in order to procure the carbon offsets for their purpose.
Okay, Kian Soon, now wearing the investor lens, looking ahead, where should we be putting our money? What sort of sectorally, where should we be putting on our money in order to ride this wave?
So there are a few ways to do that. A lot of the investment funds have actually signed up for net zero emission investment mandates, which means that companies that don't fit their purpose, investment do not fit the net zero emissions purpose, will not be investment target by their funds. I think this is one way that the asset management industry has basically worked on to show that they are committed to help the whole world fight global warming. The second way to ride the wave is pay a lot of attention on carbon allowances, focus on the voluntary carbon credit markets, because these are the new things that is coming, and it's a huge market as the products are being created, and a lot of good is being done, because even in the voluntary carbon markets, which is now around 300 million kind of market, you could see that a lot of projects have been undertaken to create voluntary carbon credits for companies to procure or to invest in them. So I could see that there will be a lot of interesting investment ideas in this sector.
For us in Southeast Asia, as retail investors, how can we participate in this?
I think for the retail investors, you might have to hold your horses a bit as the primary investment starts to take off. For example, there are a lot of projects now being created to create to harvest on our mangrove swamps, our marshlands, in order to produce the carbon credits. And the next step is the packaging of these products to make sure that they are suitable and financially investable by the retail investors. Currently, the interest and focus is driven by sovereign funds. For example, in Singapore, GIC and Temasek has been a big drivers in this kind of products in sustainability finance. And then we will go on to see the financial institutions taking a big role. And then we will see that the institutional and the retail customers could ride on this ride of sustainability finance.
Now, Kian Soon, it's been a fascinating conversation. Thank you for enlightening us and giving us a primer on sustainability finance.
You're most welcome.
Now, we've been speaking to Kian Soon, CEO of Astral Asset Management out of Singapore on Biztech's Asian Midday Market Watch. This video and podcast will be on our various social media platforms, as well as our website, www.biztech.asia. Please like and subscribe to our various platforms. Thanks a lot for tuning in.